Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Comic Shop Talk on the Late Night Chat Network. I'm your host, Nico, and joined with me today, as always, my co-host, Chris. How you doing?
Hey, what's going on?
I'm all right. Like I said, a little rough around the edges today. Having a lazy Sunday here, the time of recording, at least, over at my place. So, but always good to get together with Chris and talk some comics. So looking forward to this. Get a little hair on the hair of the dog here, Chris. I got a little drink here going, so we'll have to cheers to that in a moment.
I've been on the dog, I guess, so I'm just having a Coke here for now, but we'll see how things go.
Make sure you're subscribed to the channel here, guys. I said at the start of September, the Late Night Collectors Community YouTube will be gone. I'm just in the process of actually getting deleted now. So hopefully you joined us back over here on the Late Night Chat Network. All of our content, all of our videos, 144 of them, plus everything else we've done. Chris has been on a bunch of episodes of Cracking Packs with the chat, which we haven't actually done one in a while. So maybe we'll have to see what's cooking here with the new season.
Coming up soon again.
I was about to say, yeah, it's that time of year. So, but yeah, no, definitely go check out our playlist here on the Late Night Chat Network. Your first stop for pop culture talk, all kinds of different stuff that we got here, movie reviews, all kinds of things. So you got to check out our playlist here. So it's not just comics. The whole channel is basically just it encompasses all of the people that do shows on here, our interests essentially. And there's all kinds of things there for you. And this week we're going to be talking about September 4th, 2024, the week of comics that came out this week. Spoiler warning, as always, we are going to get into what happened in the books here today and show off some of the art. So if you're afraid of being spoiled, you can always read your books and then come back, check us out in the playlist there. Hit that like and subscribe button. Make sure you subscribe. You can be notified of when these videos come out. And yeah, I think that's about it, Chris. I think I hit everything there.
All right, well, let's talk comics then.
Talk some comics. Cheers.
Cheers.
I like how I had to start up again with the drinking today, and you're kind of now you're like you're like I gotta slow down.
Yeah, I got to work tomorrow too. First day back after 5 weeks. So
there you go. Okay.
Try and be nice there on the first day.
Good luck with that, then. All right. Next, first up here on the docket. Oh, actually, here I'll show off this too. I didn't get this cover last week. This was a series I didn't enjoy, but I want to quickly show this Gotham City Sirens, number 4. Ooh. I got the wrong cover. If you recall last week, I mentioned how I had the wrong cover, and someone came forth that ended up with this cover at the shop, and I was able to bring that one back and get this one. So I really like the cover. Didn't like the series so much, but I really liked these collections of covers. I think they were connecting. I'm not too sure, but they all were by the same artist and like same type of poses. So yeah, that's a good one there of Punchline. Even though I don't know where this character is at now these days in terms of popularity, Chris. I'm not sure it took, to be honest with you.
I don't know either. Like they've dragged her through the mud lately.
Yeah. So
anyway, got some bad series. They got to get her back in the regular Batman and doing whatever she does. But I got the covers too. I got from that Amazing Spider-Man last week. I got the Mary Jane Disco Dazzler.
Nice one.
That's not too bad. And what I also ended up buying that NYX. It's Derek Chu.
Yeah.
That's a nice cover too.
Our boy Derek Chu that we met at Fed Expo. Now we went to their panel. He was there, right? Yeah, he was
there. And I did end up finding what's that? Alien versus Predator. I got that somewhere here. But...
Oh, nice! You got it. Good, Chris. Because I'm happy you were able to grab that. You don't want to miss out. We actually at the shop there I'm at. They just under the wire ordered more of them because after the book came out and we read it, we're like, oh yeah, we need to order some more of these. So it's a very popular title right now, and already I believe from what I've been hearing, people are flipping copies online like it's going over cover price.
And I was happy to find the A cover too, because I was at another comic shop and it was kind of hidden behind some of the B covers, and the B covers was okay, but I still wanted that A cover.
Yeah. The Esad Ribic one, right? The one that I got too.
Yeah, I imagine whatever the A cover is.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, that's one.
Yeah, find it. Oh, maybe it's still in here. Hold on. Oh yeah, there it is. Lost one.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, great stuff. Yeah, so definitely check that out, guys, if you're able to track down a copy. I'm sure there's going to be a second printing that's going to be done by the time the second issue comes out of the first issue. Just because
the second issue isn't until November, because it was on my solicitations or my pull list that I was playing for November. I go, oh, it's only number 2. So they're taking their time with it, which I don't mind either.
Yeah, absolutely. Good stuff. And that was our favorite of the week last week, both of us. So there you go, everyone. Some other covers for you. But anyways, first up on the docket here today, we got Absolute Power number 3 this week.
Nope, there I got a variant cover for that as well.
Oh, nice.
Carla Cohen. I don't mind, but like I say, I don't mind buying the DC variants where they got the A cover sort of inside. But this Absolute Power event, at least the main story, it's just rolling along, and I have no complaints about this one bit. The art is awesome, the story's decent. It's probably moving a bit quick, but I think it's only a 4-issue series.
Yeah.
And the only thing, if it's there near the end, I think, I guess, big spoiler alert is it here that Darkseid's coming back, or is that in Batman? I know
that was in the Batman issue.
Okay, yeah. So no complaints about this one then. But I do like how they're on Themyscira Island, and that Queen Nubia is not happy with anybody there. I guess she's got some bad blood with the birds of prey, and just good stuff all around. And I guess the way they got Superboy sort of back on board, and it sounds like they might have even broken Queen Brainiac. So that's I guess a lot of things are happening here, and the tide might be turning for our heroes. So it's always good to see. But there is, I guess, a bigger bad even looming in the background now. So this is getting really interesting.
Yeah, I've enjoyed this. Like you said, art by Dan Mora throughout has been great. It's been a good event, good story. This is the first issue I'll say so far, though, that I felt like I was missing something. So maybe it's because of some of the other big events of this event, and some of the other big things that have been happening in the tie-in books along the way. I'm not too sure, just because I really haven't been reading the tie-ins outside of the books that I normally read. We're going to be talking about a tie-in next in the Batman issue, but yeah, so I just felt like maybe we had skipped a couple of things. I felt like it's moving at a quick pace, let's say, and like you said, it's only 4 issues. Not that I was completely lost, but this was the first issue where I felt like I skipped a beat somewhere, like I missed something, or there's so many other things happening in the background of this event in the tie-ins, as they tend to do. I mean, this isn't always the case. I find that this issue, I felt like for the first time throughout, there was just like, maybe there was some information I hadn't read in some of these tie-ins about stuff, but otherwise I really enjoyed it. I think it's a good event. I can't really say I've really hated this year's events in terms of the events that have come out between the big two. They haven't been awful. I will say that, which is a big thing for me, because I usually hate on a lot of the events they do, but there's been some all right stuff coming out of the events, I feel like. Yeah. So that's about it. I don't really have anything else to say.
Not much more to say about that. I give this an easy 4.
Yeah, 4 out of 5 for me as well. Yeah, good stuff. Some big moments in here too. Yeah, I mean, Jonathan was like, he got real messed up during this whole event, it looks like, and
and I guess being I guess with the magic there, he can't really fight that off too well, and they that kind of played a part in his recovery, let's say.
Yeah. Yep. All right, next up we got Batman this week. There we go. And I got a variant cover for this one. This is really fun. This is a Michael Keaton cover here, because there's a bunch of Beetlejuice covers.
That's not bad.
This was cool. The main reason why I got this, because I've seen a lot of the Beetlejuice variants lately, and they've been like whatever for me. But the reason I like this one is because it is Michael Keaton's Batman as well with his Beetlejuice, right? So I was like, you know what? If it was the regular Batman, I probably wouldn't have gotten it. But since it was the Michael Keaton Batman, so it's you get 2 Keatons for the price of one on the cover. I was like, that's pretty cool. I like that. Yeah, very cool. And then like
the A cover.
Yeah, no, but that's like Chris said, you get the A cover in the pages of this, right? I actually originally had ordered the one with all the Nicola Scotts, all the Batmans.
Yeah.
But I ended up seeing this, and I was like, okay, I gotta grab this one. Plus, we actually also just went to see Beetlejuice yesterday, the new one, Beetlejuice. Good stuff. I enjoyed it. It's quite good. So
nice.
What'd you think of this comic?
Well, the story for the A story with the Batman story, I think it was okay. it's always a step down when this Mike Hawthorne comes back. You know, I would have loved to seen George or Jorge Jimenez on this one. You know, because there's a lot of great characters that he could draw. Like he can just knock it right out of the park. But the story itself was okay. You know, I thought the art was decent. And I guess this is the only kind of thing I didn't like about here is when they did draw Darkseid at the end. I know that stupid smile on it. I don't think I've ever seen Darkseid smile or Darkseid smile. And then he's just there smiling at the end. And I guess the big deal was that when they did get the mother box, and you know, I guess they shut down this force field. You know, they think they're doing the right thing to save the mother box, but basically Amanda Waller was putting that force field around there to protect the mother box from Darkseid. So, you know, I guess they inadvertently, you know, added Darkseid to the chat, let's say, and that was pretty good stuff, you know. And you know, I guess they're battling some of the Suicide Squad people in there, you know, with this. Oh, okay, I got to do this, got to do that. He's doing his Batman stuff, so that was okay. And you know, they ended up, I think, where they ended up on the island between Batman and Catwoman. You know, I thought there were some nice moments there where, you know, he just wants to chill out and take a break. And she's like, well, you know, we got a while to walk here, so we can kind of have our time here. But I did like that panel there with Darkseid kind of smiling. Yeah, I'd imagine him more menacing than, you know, sitting there with a grin on his face. But one thing that surprised me about this whole story was this backup story. That one caught me by surprise with the Birds of Prey there, and it just got me wanting more Birds of Prey. Like, I know this art style, whatever, it looks very computer generated, or it looks like it was done on a computer. But, you know, I thought it was pretty decent. And then fucking boom, they dropped that bar to jump it out of a plane. I'm like, wow. I thought that was just freaking great.
Yeah, and, I absolutely agree. That back up the art. Kelly Thompson wrote the backup as well. That's been writing the ongoing series of Birds of Prey. So this is like where you're going to find their involvement in the story in this backup and Absolute Power. But I said the same thing, Chris. I'm like, wow, this artist is great. Like, how come they're not doing the main book? Like, I don't know if it's just because they can't crank out as many pages as monthly in time or something. But I was really surprised. This was a nice backup actually in this issue. Good stuff. Yeah, I agree with you about the computer. Like, you know, it's very digital, like the art, the way it's drawn, right? And it does look like a little bit of AI or something like that. Maybe it was just I don't know, but it worked. I think it looked great. You know, so I hope that's not the case. I doubt it is because there's been such a
such a backlash about it. But it does look like this was all done on a computer or something. You know, I don't think this guy's going to have some sketch pages there that you could buy if you wanted to. You know what I mean?
No, this was definitely done digitally. They are. Yeah, that's for sure there. But that being said, I actually really liked the Batman issue as well. I actually, if I had to compare the two this week, I would give the edge to this over the Absolute Power issue. I thought this was an excellent tie-in issue of Batman to Absolute Power. I liked the fun kind of like mission statement, like of this whole thing between him and Catwoman these last couple of issues, and the fact that it really did feel like a good Suicide Squad comic, which it's been a while since I've read a good Suicide Squad comic. And this captured that, I think, with all the different bad guys and the way that they were kind of like, you know, trying to get through the scenario and work their way through everything in this. And it was like just some fun kind of caper type of stuff going on here. You know what I mean? It was a lot of fun. And then to top it all off, you get the Darkseid moment at the end of it. So that, and then, like you said, then you get the backup with some really nice art, and it was a good Birds of Prey story. I really enjoyed this issue. I definitely think this edged out Absolute Power. And so, you know, while I haven't been really reading a lot of the tie-ins, I thought I'm happy this happened in the Batman comic. This
for sure.
Little two-parter that we've gotten here with them pulling this mission. Good stuff. Yeah, very good. And Chip Zdarsky, it feels like, knows how to like write a good like action story, essentially, like, which is kind of what he did. Like, this kind of felt like a really good action movie. The way they're running towards the finish line at the end with the Darkseid, like the laser like from his eyes, and the boom tube or whatever very quickly and escape. And I was just like, wow, that was tense. You know, I don't know what they were gonna do. Maybe Catwoman would have got taken out or something, right? You never know, right? So it was good stuff. Yeah. So what'd you give this?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to give this another 4. I thought it was a good issue.
Like I said, I think it edged out Absolute Power, which I just gave a 4 to, plus the backup. I'm gonna give this a 4.25 this week. Good stuff. Yeah. Next up, we got Exceptional X-Men #1, the newest new X-Men #1 book. I don't think either of us picked this up though, right? We didn't.
No, I just read this one online as well.
Yeah, and I'm happy about that.
Right? Yeah, I didn't regret not buying this. It's not a bad story, but it's not a #1 story. Like, this is based just Kitty Pryde living her life. She's working as a bartender and kind of going through the mundane whatever activities of freaking working a job there. She has a roommate there, and I guess she plans on going on some date, and she runs, it ends up being the wrong day or something. And then she runs into a newer mutant there that's kind of just manifesting her powers the first time. She saves her, and then they kind of have kind of a moment where she says, "Oh, thank you for helping me out and letting me adjust to all this stuff." But that's like a whole hum. Like, how many times has this story gone on before? And then the only thing with what's that her name, the White Queen now, or Emma Frost, after is like on the last page where she's kind of just, oh, I'm gonna go track someone down. Oh, and Kitty Pryde, that's someone ripe for the pickings. And there was a nice page though with Emma Frost there, but it wouldn't be enough for me to get to go out and buy this comic.
That was the reason why I dislike this, because like you said, the story itself that was being told in this first issue was not bad by any means. I thought it was a well-told story and from her perspective, the Kitty and all that, great stuff. But how are you going to have the opening issue of a series that Emma Frost is a leader, from what I understand, of this team, and have her on the last page of the issue like that? And that, and to be honest, if I were to pick this up or continue with it, Emma Frost would be the main reason I would do it, because I like Emma Frost as a character. Not that I don't like Kitty, she's great too, but like that was the only reason why I was considering picking this up originally, because this was the Emma Frost team essentially. And then like you said, they have her on at the end of the issue. So I'm just like, what kind of first issue is this? Like, this is like the anti getting the band together type of move here. Right? Right?
Like, this would be a filler issue in like the freaking 90s run of X-Men,
Not even that. Like, it's just usually like these like stories that they tell from like a singular person's view. They usually tell like at the end of an arc or something like that, right?
Yeah, or in between arcs or something. It's a filler issue. I can have this for #1.
I don't know. It's I mean, like, it's great that they kind of I'm glad we spent the time to kind of learn what she's been up to and how she kind of, after at the end of like the Krakoa era, she became like a killer again there, a Shadow Cat, and she was kind of over the whole X-Men thing, it seemed like. And now her trying to for whatever is just her excuse to try to get away from it all. And that never works out for these guys, right? So I don't even know why they bothered telling a long story like this, right? Again, it was nice to see her at the end, but I don't know how you're going to put her at the end. Like, it's just, it's clearly playing with readers' expectations, this move that they've done. And I find also, Chris, there seems to be a trend now, and more books, it seems like they're making an effort to try to have more of like a slice of life vibe, like the She-Hulk book that we enjoyed, right?
Yeah. Like, you only need 1 or 2 of those. Like, come on, you got to get back to business.
Yeah. No, I agree. This is still superhero comics. I just think that plays better when, like you said, like between arcs, they do an issue like that or whatever, day in the life of type stuff, and not to launch your title of an X-Men series, right? That's it was an odd choice. So I just think that's what they're going for here. Clearly, this seems like in the She-Hulk vein of things. It seems like almost, right? So, what'd you give this?
Let's give it a 3.5.
I think I like it a little bit more now we talked about it, but I really hated this when I read it. I'm not gonna lie. I was gonna give it a 3. I'll give it a 3.25 because like the story itself was fine. It just this is not what I wanted. So, but that's I guess we got to judge it based on like the how good it was, even though it's not my cup of tea. I'll give it a 3.25. Next up, we got Plastic Man No More. This is a new DC Black Label miniseries. Got this Chris Samnee cover as he cleverly did like the No More Plastic Man kind of thing there. Kind of like that one. But yeah, what'd you think of this, Chris?
Yeah, I just read this one online as well. And I'm not too upset that I didn't buy this either. I think it's a decent story. What's your Plastic Man? I feel they really make you feel bad for this guy here. Like, doesn't he try and save the Justice League from, I guess, some sort of radioactive blast, and they all freaking just kind of blow it off like he did nothing. And he's like, "Oh, guys, I think I'm not doing so well here." Like, "Oh, Plastic Man, you're so funny." and then he goes home and he falls asleep, and they find that he's like deteriorating. And then the only person that really kind of takes him seriously was Detective Chimp. I did like that part. And like Detective Chimp is, I hear what you're saying, man. You kind of, there's like an echelon or a pecking order in this Justice League, and we're at the bottom. And then there's all this stuff, I guess, with his son that I guess is news to me. And he's trying to get back to his son and just let him know, hey, things might not be going so well for you, after this. Whether this had to be a Black Label, I don't know, but it's an okay story, but it's nothing groundbreaking or something I'm telling you to rush out and get.
I'm gonna tell you to rush out and get this, guys. I really enjoyed this issue. It was some good stuff. It basically, the main reason being, like Chris said, you never really see it from the hero's perspective. This is kind of like the Black Label because this is basically a character study of Plastic Man. And it's kind of, I don't know if this is just in his head, the way that he is perceived by the Justice League, or if they are literally just treating him like shit, like they did in this issue. But, he's always been the goofy, funny kind of character in the Justice League. And I think this kind of portrays that, like, of this character, like what some people might think of him, even though like he's super powerful and everything else. But like, he's looked at a certain way, and he's not part of the Trinity or the main cast of the Justice League. He's kind of like the reserve type of Justice League character. So I feel like, yeah, the way he went on in this book, and like they treated him, or at least in his mind that they did, and that Detective Chip moment, I thought was really cool perspective of all that kind of stuff. Like, even when he went to them, he's like, hey, I'm kind of falling apart here. I could use some help. He's walking around with literally a colostomy bag on his arm, which is made up of his arm. Like, it's just dribbling into this bag that he has. And it's just messed up. Like, it's this book, they kind of said it was going to be like a body horror type book where you could see where they were coming from with that. But I don't really think it was horrific so much as like just tragic, if anything.
Yeah.
Character, right? So yeah, it's an interesting angle. I do appreciate it, and I think that's why it's under the Black Label. Just because I think you can't really do stories like that I mean, you can, but they just don't, right? It's not like there was any like hard language or anything like in this where I'm like, oh, this has to be a mature title. But yeah, it's definitely a different type of story that they're telling here. But it's cool. Like, I like how they talked about how he used to be a thief, and how like he reformed and joined the Justice League. They kind of gave you like a quick opening like that. And then the art kind of style shifted where it was kind of more darkish at the start of like showing him as a criminal and all that. And then it kind of was more bright and cartoony for like the Justice League moments. The son stuff was pretty tragic as well. Just like learning about him having a bad relationship with his son. And really at this point in time, by the end of the issue, he's just trying to find out a way how to save his son from this same thing happening to him. Because he went to some chemist or something like that, and she says, I think she studies like plastics and stuff like that. I forgot what she does.
Yeah.
But she says basically, yeah, this was gonna happen one way or the other eventually to you. That zap just basically accelerated the process that you got. So he's like, well, if I can save my son, and she's like, so you're telling me we got to drop an atomic bomb or something like that? So I don't know what's going to happen. He might be.
I know. That's basically like, oh, so you're saying I need a nuclear bomb. And she's like, whoa, no, time out.
Right. Like, this could be really dark where this is going to go, because it kind of seems like he's about to go off the deep end. Like, and he's already got it in his head that he's not respected or liked by his teammates. No. So I don't know if he's going to go back to a life of crime to have this happen. I don't know. So that's kind of where we leave off after the first issue. So for me, I really enjoyed the setup in this one, and I'm looking forward to the next one based off of that. It's by Christopher Cantwell, who I'm a fan of, and he's done some great stuff. He did my favorite Doom story in years. A couple of years ago, he had like a Doom miniseries of like 12 issues through Marvel, and I love that series. So he's also the guy that did the Iron Man run before Jerry Duggan, which I know you somewhat were like.
Yeah, that wasn't too bad.
Yeah, he did that as well. So he has some good credits under his name. So I'm looking forward to this. I don't know if this is his first DC work, but it's been a while, I feel like, since I've read something from him, I feel like, over there. So it's good stuff. What'd you give this?
I'll give it a 3.75.
I'll go 4.25 on this one. I did enjoy it. But yeah, maybe don't run out and get it. I was just trying to say that because Chris is like, I'm not telling you to run out and get it. But honestly, if that sounds interesting to you, I think he's just somebody that doesn't get a lot of shine as a character. So like this is an interesting premise for a mini series of a character. I feel like you don't really see get his moments right that very much. So for that reason alone, I'd say go check this out. All right, Chris, Deadpool team up #1. You got your boy Rob Liefeld in the house here.
Basically, that's the only reason I wanted to try and take a look at this comic there, just see what, this might be the last time Rob Liefeld's doing any sort of Marvel stuff. Maybe that's the stuff in the bag or something. But, I read it a while ago, and I don't think it didn't leave me any lasting impression. I don't even know who he's teaming up with in here. I was expecting more of a sort of like Marvel team up sort of business there. And, once again, this is one of the comics I was thinking of putting on my pull list, and I'm glad I didn't. I don't know. Do you get a chance to read this at all or no?
I didn't, but I'm not gonna lie. While putting the art together for this, because I assume maybe this would be something you'd check out because you had mentioned possibly wanting to check it out. It looks fun. I'm not gonna lie, it does look fun. Like you got ninjas, you got a bunch of different type of characters that are in this. I think the big thing about this is whether or not you're one of the Rob Liefeld art haters or him as a person. So if that's either one of the categories that you're a part of, you're probably not going to want to check this out. But he does have a lot of haters, and there's a lot of people that don't like his art. But listen, he's still got a style that's unique to.
Well, I love the style. There's nothing wrong with the art,
right?
But I think it's all just it's all style and no substance. But
right.
But I wasn't like I don't remember it being overly funny or anything. Just nothing that kind of jumped out at me. So I'm kind of happy I skipped it. Well, I'll probably end up reading it, but I'd give this a 3.25.
Okay. It ended on Chris Star showing up from Weird World, which is like a deep cut of a character. So like,
yeah, maybe that's another thing that's kind of just lost on me.
Yeah, so it's kind of fun though. It looked fun to me, anyways. But like I said, if you're not a big fan of his art, I don't know why you would check this out to begin with, even if you are a fan of Deadpool. Next up, Marvel Zombies: Dawn of Decay #1, Chris.
Yeah, fucking I'm like friggin' Wonder Woman over here just dodging bullets because this was brutal. Bad. I've read a lot of the other Marvel zombie stuff, so I go, oh, here's my chance to kind of get one. So, once again, I didn't end up making the cut. I've been trying to keep that list small, and this was just, I don't know. It's sort of following the Marvel Avengers, or sort of more, I guess, following more of the MCU sort of version. And whatever, Groot comes here and he's got a cold, and then he sneezes on Captain America, and like within seconds, Captain America turns into a zombie. And then, hell breaks loose from there. And, it just didn't feel like any of the zombie stories, like the Marvel zombies from before or anything, or even like the Marvel zombie oats or whatever. I just felt this was just bad all around. And, I don't know, Captain America bites, he's biting Thor's thumb to get Thor. You figure Thor would have some thicker skin that could take a bite. But, yeah, maybe I'll kind of continue to read it just to see where it goes, but I'm glad I dodged this one too. I'd give this a 3. Yeah, because I think what the Hulk is there at the end, and they got to find a way to get from where they are to Avengers Mansion or the Fantastic Four building. And the problem is that he can only go do it as the Hulk, and they don't want him to go up and smash. Like this is, I guess, the Hulk that can't really control himself. So they're in deep trouble there.
Yeah, dumb Hulk. Yeah. All right. Next up, we got Minor Arcana #1. I don't have the art for this, unfortunately, but this is I wasn't able to put it together in time, but this is the new ongoing series from Jeff Lemire out of Boom Studios Comics. And basically, this kind of combines, I feel like, a couple of different versions of Jeff Lemire. Like it definitely has that small town slice of life kind of like stuff that Jeff Lemire does really well. But then it also has like I feel like the other interest of his that he has done in some of his comics, even if you look at it from the sense of even that newest comic that we just finished up reading of his Fish Flies, which almost had like a weird supernatural element to it with like the guy transforming into the fish fly and all that kind of stuff. That's definitely, I feel like, the two vibes he's going for once again in this. It's about a girl coming back to her town after things didn't work out with her. And I guess, I don't know if she lived in New York, I think it was. Like she lived in a big city she comes back to her old town because things didn't work out for her there the way that she wanted it. She's had a bad breakup, and she goes home to see her mother, and she's basically doing the whole thing where she's moving back home because, she doesn't have money, and things aren't working out for her. And the breakup was just the icing on the cake. So she's coming back with being very negative about shit. And her mother, I guess she has this old psychic shop, essentially. Like, she reads people's palms and does this kind of stuff. And, I guess this has been her family for a while. So it's like the family business, and that's what people know of her mother in the town, and that she's her daughter. So she goes to see her mother, and, they reconnect, and they don't have that great of a relationship, but, she's like, basically, if you're going to be here anyways, you might as well run the shop for me because I can't do it right now. So, you know what you're doing. You've seen me do it a million times. Why don't you go do it? And she's kind of like, yeah, I don't want to do that phony baloney, stupid palm reading shit that you do. And, you're so full of shit and all this kind of stuff. And then obviously I'm guessing there's something that's going to happen here where there is actually, some magic stuff happening, or in this town. Something happens to her at the end when she goes to read someone's palm for the first time in her mother's place, because a customer shows up to the shop and it's closed, and she's like, well, yeah, you're her daughter. You should know what you're doing. Why don't you try it out? And she's like, okay. And then something happens to her where she gets almost it seems like she's transported to another world, like another time and place. And she starts she's having like a weird, vision of stuff happening by the end of the issue. And you don't really know what's happening there and what's going to happen to her moving forward. So, really good start, solid start to the series. This is going to be an ongoing. I think he says, I'm guessing it's going to maybe be like 20 so issues or something. So it's going to be a longer ongoing series from Jeff Lemire, from what I've been seeing him talk about. Also, something that I think comic companies can learn from. Very cool that they're doing this. In the back, it actually says it's a long-form series from the creator of Sweet Tooth to be collected in 4 deluxe hardcovers. So already at the start of this, they're letting you know, hey, if you guys want to get a nice hardcover collection of this, whether you're going to read it in issues or you're not, or you just want to go and get the collection after you read it, this is our plan to do 4 nice hardcovers like that. I guess this is on the spines, like the different characters. And as someone who collects nice collected editions of stuff I enjoy, that's cool that they are right out the gate telling you, hey, we're going to be doing this collection. I just think more companies should do that. Be transparent about what your plans are for the people that are interested in checking this out, because even if you don't pick up the issues, you may want to go pick up that hardcover that comes out, right? I just hate these companies like with Marvel and shit where they don't even tell you if it's a mini series or it's an ongoing series. And then, you know what I mean? At least that way you can decide as a consumer, like what you want to do, right? Like, I feel like they try to hide it from people because they're like, oh, we're going to lose out on sales if we do it that way, right? Like, just be transparent about it. Because I'm probably going to pick up the issues, and then guess what? I'll probably pick up the collection if I like the series. Like, don't be hiding the fact that you're going to do nice collections of this. So no one I feel like does that. So anyways, I just wanted to point that out. The issue itself, though, I'll give it 4 out of 5. It was a good start. If you're a Jeff Lemire fan, like super fan, like I am, definitely check this out. Great stuff. Next up, we got What If Donald Duck Became Thor #1. Chris, I know you said you didn't end up reading it, but you got it for the nice.
I did pick it up. I tried to read it. I just couldn't.
Yeah.
Maybe it caught me at a bad time.
Yeah, that's all right. I mean, it is definitely more for kids, I would say, like but it's basically pretty straightforward. The story, he ends up finding Mjolnir, or the stick that he used to bang, and it turned into Mjolnir in old Thor comics, essentially. And that's made out of the Yggdrasil tree or whatever the hell it's called. That cane he used to carry around. And
yeah.
And he ends up going out in the woods there, and he ends up finding it. And there's this whole other subplot story with like these Martian type characters that are invading Earth. And he basically is the one that ends up fighting them and getting them to go away, essentially back to their planet. And that's it. It's pretty basic. I mean, it's a bunch of Italians are the ones behind this. You always see, because Europe, they love Donald Duck in Europe, right? Like Disney comics are huge there. So like, even when I went to Greece years ago when I was younger, like that was when you went to look for comics. Majority of the comics that you saw were the Duck comics, right? So you look at the list of creators behind this issue, like that's what it is, a bunch of Italians. I'm not gonna even attempt to say their names, but yeah, there's a bunch of Italians behind this. And listen, it's fun stuff if you're a fan of Donald Duck, but or Thor, but it's a pretty simple, straightforward story, and I can't give it anything more than, I don't know, maybe a 3.25 or 3.5 around there. It's fine for what it is. I'm not the target audience for this, but like Chris, I picked this up for the cover. And, I picked up the Wolverine one as well, but I think I'm done now. Like the next one they announced was like Minnie Mouse, Captain Marvel, which I have no interest in. And, these are, they're not worth the price of admission. They're just, so I'm going to probably tap out on this one. So anyways, I hope they put out a nice collection of it though, after all this. And it'd be a nice gift for, I think, for kids to pick this, to pick that trade paperback up, because it'll have, if they're a fan of Disney, a fan of Marvel, like superheroes, then this is a slam dunk for sure. Next up, you got Public Domain number 8. I think this is the last issue. I've pre-ordered this. I think I dropped it just because I figured I'd just pick up the trades for this instead. Not because it's bad, because this is a really good issue. This is a really good issue. I really liked this one. The series is like kind of doing the same thing as it did the first 5 issues. Or by the end of it, I just felt like every issue just added another layer to these characters and what they have going on in this story. I just find myself enjoying it more and more. In this issue in particular, now that they've formed the company and they've hired everybody, this is when they hire the final people to help out, which is a letterer and a colorist. And there's all these, again, like inside baseball type of talk about working in the business. And it's just, it just feels like very, like, obviously this is by a comic creator, Chip Zdarsky, who wrote and drew this, that works in comics. So I just think he's kind of giving you a peek behind the curtain to like some of the things that happen, or the way maybe conversations go, even working in this type of environment. But the cool thing about this is they are doing it like an old school way that doesn't exist anymore, where they all are working in an office, a shared office together, and some of them are family members there, and they're all working towards, doing making a good product and getting something fulfilling out of this whole experience. So it's nice. I do like it. It's a very nice story that he's telling here with these characters. And I thought this was just another great installment. And, the first issue back after that year away, I feel like after the first 5 issues, I wasn't so sure about it, but like 2 more issues in, and I'm really enjoying this. This is good stuff. 4.25 out of 5.
Thanks.
And then finally, Justice Society of America 11. I got nothing else to add to this that I haven't been saying the last couple of issues. The delays on this book definitely have affected it. I don't know if it's because of Jeff Johns having started up all the Ghost Machine stuff he's been doing at Image, or maybe the artists that have been turning in pages for this, even though they've had a couple of different artists. But, we're stumbling to the finish line with this story. I think this started out as a really great series, and now by the end, there's just a ton of characters in this story, and I've lost the thread, I feel like 5 issues ago. So I think there's one more issue to go. It's a 12-issue series. It's issue 11. So I kind of want to revisit this in a collected edition, just because like I really like Jeff Johns' work, and I do like the Justice Society. But yeah, he lost me by at this point in the story. I just don't know what to think of it anymore. And basically they form some Justice Society here. They beat the bad guys, Eclipso and this, and at the end of this, they have some sort of a new team, which I think in another issue is going to matter anyways, because I don't think Jeff Lemire is using this team that's part of this book. So it almost feels like this is Jeff Johns' swan song from working with DC after he had worked with them for I feel like 20 plus years at this point. And it's been a long time of him working at DC. And I think that, I don't know. I don't know now with all that Ghost Machine stuff going on, if he's going to be doing as much DC stuff now. Right. And so I hope this isn't the last thing we see from him, because he's one of their best writers over the years. And this is not the best series I feel like to go out on if this is the case. Right. So we'll see what happens. I'll give this a 3 point. I can't. I mean, I gotta even give this a 3, just because I didn't really like it all too much, I feel like, at this point. But I think there's good stuff there. It just may be because of the delays on this book. Like, I feel like we got 3 issues this past year or something, which is crazy. Then we got the Ultimates 4, Chris.
Ooh, this was a big issue, I think.
Yeah, good stuff. Great cover.
Yeah, great cover. I just got the A cover with the mouse or whatever. And then when you look, like, I'd never realized when I first looked at it, but all those mice there, they're all friggin' taking like the different Fantastic Four. Like there's a stretchy mouse, there's the thing mouse, and then there's a mouse on fire.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of gives you a bit of a brutal story of this world's Reed Richards, and kind of how he got. I don't see kind of where the Maker's influence is in there, but he did go somewhere in there. Instead of them all coming back with superpowers, a couple of them died, and it looks like the Thing killed himself. And then, whatever, the Maker took Reed Richards and basically imprisoned him. Like, he kind of takes him in as a young man, and then when he does free him, Reed looks like some old man there. And then Reed, I kind of sowing the seeds of some villainy there almost when he's trying to, either kind of recapture his past or fix the mistakes from his past. And, an Iron Man or Iron Lad, whoever it is, they've kind of have that time travel off limits. But you could see in the, maybe not in his little thought bubbles, but there's that idea brewing in his head that I could just use this, whatever that Immortus engine and try and go fix things from the past, which, I think is probably going to happen sooner or later from the vibe I get from this comic here.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this as well. I love this kind of storytelling that they did in this, where they're basically telling you 4 different time periods through the panels. You get 4 panels per page. And if you actually were to read it that way, you could go through and read all of one panel, like the top panel stories throughout the whole issue. But of course, it's better to experience like this because you kind of see all the differences panel by panel of how the timeline went. Because one of them's before the experiment, before his attempt at trying to do the Fantastic Four thing, this version of Reed. Then you have you have after the fact, and then the Maker kind of getting involved, and then you have him kind of observing all the events in the third panel that had happened prior to this happening, how he became Doom as a result of the Maker and the torture and everything behind it. And then in the last panel, you have what's been going on currently, in the Ultimate storyline with him trying to recreate that for this initiative there that they're trying to pull off right now. So it's great storytelling technique, and I just really, really enjoyed it. And this looks pretty grim between the last couple of issues, man. This and that mutated scene, the last issue with the Hulk, with all those weird mutated people that didn't turn into Hulks from gamma radiation poisoning. I was just like, this is it doesn't pull any, and they're not trying to this isn't all hunky-dory type of you know what I mean?
Good times. And there's definitely not rushing things or anything here, so, and I think it's working for this,
Yeah, absolutely. I'm liking this series a lot. It's actually getting better each issue as well. It's good stuff. What'd you give this?
Yeah, this is another, I might have to give 4.25 compared to some of the 4s I've given.
I would agree. 4.25. Yeah, good stuff. Next up, you got Get Fury number 5 this week. One more issue to go of this one. What'd you think?
Yeah, I've been just reading this one online, and if you're talking about Red Band stuff, I might have even mentioned this before. This has been one brutal freaking comic book. The story's okay here. I think we got Frank Castle. He's got are they Russian or they're North Korean? Yeah, he's got some juice on him or something, and they're trying to free Frank or Nick Fury. And when they open that door and they see Nick Fury there, it's like, wow, he is beat up, his finger, just his fingers are all mangled, right there. That's enough to buy the comic, right? Just just the build up to that scene there, and where it goes from there. I guess they end up rescuing him, and then I guess some of the other soldiers realize that something's up, and they're just trying to chase him down. And I guess with the other 2 CIA guys or whatever that are kind of his handlers, they're trying to either stop him or not stop him, and they're kind of just bouncing the ideas around that, hey, maybe Nick Fury he's not here for something to stop drugs or to expose us. He's just trying to tie up loose ends, which is what we're trying to do. And they're kind of, maybe we should let things ride. Oh, and this other scene here too. They're trying to keep this guy as a hostage, has some beef, and you go back there and he's got, I'll fucking kill you, and he's got his arm wrapped right down his throat. That's good stuff.
Yeah, because his mind is gone. So they put him in the back with this guy that he identifies as somebody that captured him. Obviously,
yeah, he's probably with the torture or the guy behind the glass that was torturing him. Oh, it's good stuff.
Yeah, it's brutal. Yeah, I mean, with one more issue to go, it's come together in a nice way, this story. It's not bad. I mean, there's been certain points of this series where I'm like, could this have been better? Absolutely. But as Chris mentioned, every scene you get like some brutal moment in this series that really kind of, it makes up for the fact that you bought the issue, just like that money shot of like just some of the brutalist moments that you see throughout this series, right? And the horrors of war or whatever, however you want to put it, right? But it's really is a lot of government interference that's happening here too. It's with what's going on, and it is interesting to see these characters in this situation. Like, I don't feel like we've ever seen Fury that beat up in a Marvel comic, right? So
no way.
He's been tortured for weeks or whatever, right? So what'd you give this?
I'll give it a 3.75 though, but it's still worth that's worth the price to ride.
Yeah, I guess I can go 3.75. I almost want to give it a 4 or 2 just for that one moment, but yeah, that would be
too.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Next up, we got Scarlet number 4.
Yeah, I think I forgot that I didn't get this in my stack, but I did order it. Maybe it's there somewhere. Who knows? But anyways, this is still following Scarlet and is it Jinx? They're trying to do what they do, or they're trying to escape the building, with some Storm Shadow business. And it's still kind of following, I guess, the same pattern there. I guess they realized that maybe Storm Shadow's trying to pull a fast one on them and send them to the wrong floor. And they realize that, the way out is up instead of down. And I think at the end, they're basically ready to escape. But then Jinx says, I got to kind of stay where I am and see what's going on. And I thought there was some sort of hint of Cobra Commander in the end of this one.
Yeah. Well, I think he meets up with is it the end of this issue? I can't recall. I'm just looking right now. Yeah, well, no, that was last issue, but this issue, they talk about the fact that Storm Shadow gets that sword at the end of this.
That's it. Yeah, and he goes to work in that near the end there, where you have that kind of big page there, where you just see him bouncing around, and he just offs everybody. So that was a good scene. Good to see some Storm Shadow action.
Yeah, absolutely. It's Sword of Life is what they uncover at the end there, and this
is that's where he's just going to town.
The money shot. Yeah, that was great stuff. Yeah, I really like this miniseries. I think this is one of if I had to compare the miniseries that came out together, this is the stronger one out of the Cobra Commander, and this one, this is the way better miniseries.
Well, I guess this versus Destro, because they're the ones that are kind of running at the same time. I think this is better than Destro for sure.
Sorry, yeah, Destro, not Cobra Commander. You're right. That's the one that's happening right now. I mixed them up. Yeah, absolutely, it's better than Destro. This is way better, this miniseries. I really liked this one, and yeah, the fact that Storm Shadow's in this, and you get a lot of like ninja fighting action the last couple of issues, and it all kind of the artist was able to do those crazy splash pages of fighting in this series throughout. Like, I think you get like a nice fight sequence like that every issue of this series so far. So yeah, it's definitely worth checking out. This is definitely one of the better miniseries. Yeah, if I had to do a power ranking by the time that the G.I. Joe ongoing series came out, let's see. I would probably go Duke, then possibly this over Cobra Commander.
I think Duke, Scarlet, Cobra Commander, Destro.
Yes. Yeah, I got the same ranking as you. Yeah. I think Duke's still the best one. And that is the team that's going to be doing the ongoing G.I. Joe series. So, yeah.
They could have thrown some more characters in here, but they seem pretty much self-contained with, I guess, with Storm Shadow, Scarlet, and Jinx.
Yeah, no, exactly. I'm sure that once the ongoing happens, there's a bunch of different characters in there, right? So they're going to show up. So, all right, cool. What'd you give this?
I give it 3.75.
Yeah, same. Yep. Next up, we got Birds of Prey number 13. And is this 13? Yeah, I got the Nicola Scott variant cover of all the Black Canaries for this one.
Nice.
Yeah. And I guess this is the regular cover here. But what'd you think of this, Chris?
Yeah, this is the end of the arc here. And, this wasn't a very great arc to begin with, in my opinion. And they did not stick a landing in here one bit, Like, I kind of was happy for the way they escaped, I guess, these pocket dimensions. but then they ended up in their own world, and it just went to heck from there. She ends up escaping at the end, and then what's her name? Cassandra Cain. She's like, okay, well, let's go back. Let's go, let's go chase her down, track her down. Like everybody's like, no. And then the one person they do save, they kind of reach out to her and go, look, you're in a new world. Maybe you need someone to help you kind of, get your feet on the ground. She walks away from them saying no. So what was this all for? Nothing. Brutal.
Yeah, I can't necessarily disagree with you. I do think the ending was pretty rushed here after like 5 issues of them dimension hopping, where there has been some fun moments in this series, but I think they really need a more focused story going into the next arc. And
yeah,
clearly she can do it. I mean, that backup that we talked about this week was also written by Kelly Thompson, who wrote this, which was a great backup in Batman. So like, and I really like Kelly Thompson. So I think she's capable of better things than this. Absolutely. So I think hopefully going into this next arc, there's going to be a little bit more focus. And while there was some fun moments in this as a whole, I didn't love this story either. So I just still think there's a lot of potential in this book. And they've had some good artists working on the series. Like, this page was great. Like there's been some good stuff happening. It's just not all gelling 100% for me right now. So I hope she's able to do some good things in this next story. We'll see.
Yeah.
What'd you give this?
It's got to be a 3.25 for me.
Yeah, same. Yep. All right, Chris. Venom War #2.
Oh yeah, I just read this one online, and I think I'm missing out on this Venom War. The more I read, some of the stuff here, the more I seem to be enjoying it. And I just guess I got a bad taste in my mouth from all the Venom stuff that was going on before. This should have been in the Venom. Like, what am I at in that comic? I like 37, and it's been all friggin' bunch of hokey baloney here. But this is just more comic stuff. I got Spider-Man involved in there. I'm not sure if he was in this story too much, but I think Carnage was kind of taken care of. Oh, not Carnage. What's his name? Liz Allen. It's kind of all these people that have
Misery, I think.
Yeah, and have some Venom or symbiotes. They're all. I guess it is a Venom War, so they're all coming to town with this. And I like this story. I've read some of the other tie-ins. I've been enjoying the Spider-Man tie-in. I guess we'll get to that later on. And even that, I think here they explain how those zombiotes came about. And, they just got a bunch of big all splash pages. It seems like there's some new characters, popping out in every sort of issue. So it's hard to say if there's any keys in here. You never know if any of these characters are going to take. But I thought it was some good stuff.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely a lot of symbiote stuff going on in here. Whether or not, you like all these different symbiote characters, your mileage may vary. I'm not huge on a lot of these people, nor do I know a lot about these people because I haven't been reading the ongoing series. That being said, having Spider-Man so heavily involved as a history of this character and being in this event does not hurt one bit.
No.
It's great to see him.
That's basically bringing me into this is Spider-Man's involvement.
Yeah. And I think like some of the best moments in this were like him talking to the symbiote about him preferring to be with Peter right now because that's the safer bet. He doesn't really, he's concerned if he were to go with Eddie, what would happen. And like that, all that kind of like inner monologuing type stuff with the symbiote and him and his head and all that. That was good stuff. Like I actually really like that stuff. And I think it adds like an interesting kind of take on this whole event as a result of him being the first wearer of this thing in the Marvel universe and having so much history with it. Yet he's not really involved in any of this stuff that's been going on lately, but it kind of just plopping him in the middle of that and having to kind of figure out how to go about things is interesting in and of itself. So and that's enjoyable for me. That being said, I thought this issue was not as good as the first issue of the event, but not bad. What'd you give this?
Yeah, I'll give it a 3.75. I thought I enjoyed it a lot.
I'll go 3.5 on this. And then finally, the book that Chris loves to hate, Venom War Spider-Man #2.
I'm gonna try and find my issue. I got it here somewhere.
Actually, I should turn that around. He hates to love it. That's not love to hate. He hates to love this series, guys. No matter what he says here in his review, he loves this book. Or at least he didn't last year.
Once again, I got nothing to complain about here. I thought the the art, however CGI it is, or if he just traces his own stuff, I can't complain about that. You know, I can understand why they have Jackpot in here. The best part of this book is Venom talking to Peter Parker about what's going on. And I feel like Venom is the voice of every comic fan out there. And he's allowed to write this because I don't know who's writing this, but you know, Zeb Wells would never say any of this junk. And you know, like I think she's even talking about Paul there. So this is like just the voice of everybody. You know, you can't deny or you can't complain about anything that Venom's saying. And I think it's great. You know, somehow Venom ends up with and that's where the heck is it? More? I don't know. Anyways, I got it somewhere. But I think somehow Venom ends up even sort of merging with Jackpot or something to get her stupid her whatever, I don't know, the Jackpot or the slot machine things to get that stupid sonic power. You know, I still hate all that baloney with what she does here. Yeah, because you got the venomizing. I thought that was kind of cool. And you know, you almost see. I thought we are gonna see her venomized at the end or something, but you didn't. And you know, you think after this that whatever the arachniote is taken care of, so Spider-Man swings off on his way, and I think that leads into the Venom War 2. And then at the end of this, you know, you figure, oh, you didn't finish this zombie. All you did was wake it up, and you see her getting trapped. Perfect. I loved it.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I mean, I liked it as well. And yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. That was my favorite part about it because I literally thought the same thing where I'm like, this is him just channeling what I feel like people's comments have been on this character, Paul, and the fact that they're not together. And like, you know what I mean? Like it is so true that's what I thought that was a representation of too, was even comments that we've made on this show. Like the symbiote is just like, who's this Paul guy? Like, what's going on here? Like, why aren't you together? Like, what's happening? Like, really? Like,
right? Yeah. Like he's vocalized that hate that he knows everybody has. Oh, there's my comment.
Yeah.
You know, that everybody has for this. And that's who is writing this one.
Oh, it's the two brothers. It's the two it's
it's Colin Kelly and Jackson Lansing.
Yeah,
they're the writers for it.
Writing
I think they're almost like being able to kind of write this sort of backhanded and, you know, kind of slap Zeb Wells around for what he's doing to Peter Parker in this, you know, without actually kind of coming straight out and saying this, you know. I think it's great.
Yeah, good stuff. What'd you give this?
5. No, easy now. Let's not get crazy.
You're not me.
It's good 4.
Yeah, I'll go 3.75 on it. Almost a 4. I did have a lot of fun with this one. I enjoyed this better than the Venom War issue this week. So there you go.
Yeah.
So these tie-ins, I like both the tie-ins outside of the events more than the actual event issues this week. So there you go. There is some good tie-ins sometimes. All right, so that's what we wanted to talk about this week that we read. Chris, what are you looking forward to checking out next week?
Oh shoot, I don't have anything here. Hold on, give me 1 second.
No problem.
Well, I got a few I can talk about.
Sure. But yeah, decent week. There's definitely some good ones this week. I honestly don't know what I'm gonna make my pick of the week here. So as Chris is stepping away, I was thinking of that. Yeah.
Yeah. So for next week, I think I'm getting Marvel, or for Marvel, at least, was Amazing Spider-Man 57, the Spider-Man 2, number 3, or Reign 2. I'm looking forward to that Venom War Wolverine tie-in. I guess he's fighting the Zambiotes with Tony Fleecs and Tim Seeley, I think.
Oh yeah,
they might both be involved with this. And I'm not really looking forward to the Wolverine number 1. And I think for DC, it might be DC versus Vampires, number 2. And I don't think there's much else coming out from DC. And I'm not really quite sure if there's anything from Image either. I thought it was a quiet week, but let's see. Yeah, so Image. Oh, Transformers 12. Oh, probably read Geiger 6. Nothing wrong with that.
Oh no, yeah, good stuff.
And let's see if I missed anything from DC. Yeah, there wasn't much in DC that I'm looking forward to. Basically, just the DC versus Vampires. What are you getting?
Yeah, smaller week, at least the ones I'm picking up physically here. I got Amazing Spider-Man 57, DC versus Vampires World War V number 2, Spider-Man Reign 2, number 3, Ninja Turtles, number 2, Transformers 12, Uncanny X-Men 2, and Wolverine number 1. Yeah, so not too bad. And yeah, all stuff I'm really looking forward to. And yeah, I don't know if there's anything else. I'm just looking over right now if there's anything I'm reading digitally. DC, it might just be the DC versus Vampires, like you said. I don't think there's anything else I plan on checking out here. I might read Batman Gotham by Gaslight, the Kryptonian Age.
Oh yeah, I might. I don't think. I think I stopped pulling that, but who knows? Maybe they'll
Yeah,
throw it in that pile too. But I'll probably read it. I'm sort of invested into that already.
Yeah, I'll read it, but I've dropped it now. I think that's the first issue I don't think I've picked up. Image, yeah, Geiger, like you mentioned, I'll definitely check out. Looks like Scorch comes out, Chris, next week. I don't know if you're still buying that.
Yeah, I think I haven't read the last few issues, so I've gotten them, but see what's going on there.
There's a mini series coming out by Jerry Duggan. It's a return of a series that he did before, which I quite enjoyed, called Dead Eyes. This is called Dead Eyes, The Empty Frames. It's 1 of 5. I might read that if I come across it. I liked the first one, the first mini series that he did. And now just looking over Marvel. Was this the one that you said you liked, Chris? Blood Hunters? Is that the one that you ended up liking?
I did read it. I didn't. Yeah, I like the cast, the heroes, but basically they're just chasing, whatever vampires that have kind of, they're doing bad things, after Blood Hunt, which I don't really like the premise of this.
Okay.
But, I'll probably give it a read if I got some time.
Fantastic Four comes out next week. I'll check that out. I guess maybe I'll read Venom because it's part of this event. I guess that's like an important event issue. And then Moon Knight, Vengeance of Moon Knight also comes out next week. And I'll probably read that because I think there's only 1 or 2 issues to go on that series before they relaunch it again. So there you go. So yeah, that's going to do it for next week. Yeah, not too bad. All right, Chris. I don't know if you know, but do you know your favorite book of the week there? It's hard for me.
I know. It's hard to.
I don't know.
I can't do it again, though. But I don't know what to give it to. Do you have yours all planned up already?
No, I'm just trying to go over it in my head right now. Here's the thing. I'll go through my line of thinking here. So Plastic Man, really good, but no, I didn't get that feeling when I was reading it. I thought it was really solid. I really enjoyed it while talking about it here a lot more, but I won't give it to that. Minor Arcana, just still too early. It's all of a setup so far for that issue, of course, but it's really great stuff by Jeff Lemire. Batman actually was really good. I wasn't expecting that to be as good as it was. I probably would give the nod possibly to that. The Ultimates was also very good. You know what, though? I think I got it. It's just weird. I think I got to give it to Public Domain number 8. I didn't see that coming, but I think I got to give it to Public Domain number 8. It would be between that or Batman, which are both by Chip Zdarsky this week.
Yeah.
But Public Domain number 8 just really, again, there's no comic really doing that out there right now. That's kind of giving you like the inside scoop to like the industry. And I really eat that shit up. Like I really like learning about that behind the scenes type of stuff that possibly goes on and how they put a comic together. So I kind of, and I like it also that there's also a good story behind it. And it is, although it's, it's made up, it feels real because of that kind of stuff. So I got to give it to Public Domain number 8. I'm really surprised just because like I said, the last couple of issues, it's been building up again for me. It wasn't my favorite title coming back, but this was a good one. So I'll give it to that. Public Domain number 8.
Yeah, I think you swayed me there. I got a couple that I was thinking of, but I can't do it to Spider-Man and Venom War 2 again. But I think I'm gonna give it to Batman.
Yeah.
That one, it was a good story in there. It was nice seeing Batwoman and Catwoman together, or Batman and Catwoman together again. And the backup story really surprised me. And I don't think I've given it to Batman for a while either. So I think it's been doing okay, and it's got to get some love too.
Yeah, absolutely. If it wasn't for Public Domain, I would have given it to Batman as well. I think that was
I did like the Ultimates, but I didn't like the way it was I know I explained how each panel was for one story. When I was reading it, it's like, come on, stick to the stories here. I was getting confused as to what was what and who's who and when's when.
Yeah. Yeah. So there you go. There a big Chip Zdarsky week. Our favorite of the week goes out to Chip Zdarsky on both fronts.
Go Chipper.
And Kelly Thompson, I guess, on the backup of the Birds of Prey on that one too. So there you go. So yeah, good stuff. Good week, and look forward to getting back together again next week and doing it all over again. Chris, talking about next week's comics.
Sounds good. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, everyone. We'll see you next time. Thanks again. Like and subscribe. Make sure to check out some of our other shows here on the YouTube channel, and we'll see you guys later. Thanks, Chris.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers.